Till now, we have covered a lot of things, but today's episode, we are going to hunt inside memory. I will show you how the malware authors try to hide themselves in a legitimate process and try to bypass our defense mechanism through a live demonstration. I will try to open up a malware sample. I'll try to go inside the memory and I will play with you, and I'll try to play the hunt hypothesis from start to bottom. Okay, I'm going to cover two scenarios. One where you have identified a single machine and you want to go inside that and hunt for it, and the second one is you want to hunt at scale. So let's not waste any further time. Let's dig into our session and let's see what's going on. Okay, so why a hunt in memory is very important. So we can talk about a lot of examples where basically the malware authors or the malware basically try to hide themselves and try to inject a process within a process, right? So we call it like there are different kind of process injection, shell injection that generally happens, which is very difficult if you want to do an incident response or even try to identify what is going on, right? Now if you are executing some kind of plan for any kind of such kind of malware where they are such stealthy and they are utilizing any kind of legit process and they are trying to inject themselves and trying to create another threat inside a legit process. Now how you will identify that, right? And even if you want to identify them where there is nothing getting written on disk, everything is getting written on memory, it's very difficult, right? So nowadays the EDR solutions and advanced antivirus solutions provide the process of detecting threats through memory injection process as well, but at times where you are hunting, general detection engineering would fail, right? So that is the method of enhancing your detection capabilities through the hunting process, right? So you can go through this particular link over here. So this is a beautiful article written by Palo Alto Unit 42. So this is a very old article, but this kind of Trojan and this kind of the TTPs, the attack and signatures, are still valid. Okay, and it is very important to understand what should be our hunting methodology when we are trying to hunt for something malicious which is not present in disk, right? So you cannot parse the data, you cannot get the logs outside of your host machine, so it's very trivial, right? So that is the whole intention, guys. So I'd like to show you first the steps. I'd like to run a malware and actually show you how basically you can capture those malware from analysis of memory through volatility. But volatility would come into the preference when you identify a particular machine, right? So something going bad on that particular machine and you want to deep dive onto that machine. But what happens if you want to hunt for scale, right? If you want to identify what is bad going on, or if there is any process injection, shell injection, there are a lot of examples, right? Poison ivy, threat matcher, a lot of injections possible, and there are a lot of threat actors also, right? You can simply go to the attack monitor framework and just try to figure out the different tactics, procedure that attackers basically use to hide themselves, right? So now what is the process? If you want to identify through scale, you want to have, or you must have some process, right? So that's the thing where our main intentions come into the picture. So Jarrett Atkinson has written a beautiful script. So this is not only a single script. So Jarrett has written multiple scripts. So get injected thread ID. So I'll show you in a live demo and how you can identify not only those things from memory at scale, but also you can do the containment using these scripts as well, right? So these are also some kind of thing like which is getting leveraged as Windows native API calls. So you are nothing you do not need any extra tools, extra features to deploy them. These are all native binary calls from Windows API, so these are all legit purpose, right? Okay, so this is our sample file, guys. So now what exactly I need to do? So this particular sample file has another zip inside that, so I just want to rename this particular file as sample.zip, and if you see, there would be another sample inside that, right? So I would like to extract them here as well inside sample. And now if you see, this is the exact thing that I was talking about when I referenced this particular article, guys, right? So this is the same sample that I am working on. So this is the sample that I have collected, and I will be working on that only. Okay, so what basically I want to do over here, I just want to execute this particular file, which is nothing but a ppt file, and in the backend my ppt file will be run, and I will be like some malicious thing will be going to happen inside my machine. And if you see over here, so I'd like to open this particular file as ppt format, and there is another file that has been landed into my machine with the same name as a pptx format, right? So this particular thing is just using the icon of PowerPoint, and at the back end something fishy is going on, obviously, right? So it will try to contact my license certificate, because I am not using any kind of license for this particular machine. So that's okay, right? Because it's my demo machine and I don't need to bother about all those stuffs, right? So I close that ppt, and now if you see there, if I go to this particular again this folder, so if you see, there is another file that has been dropped as pptx. This was the file that we have opened just now, and this is another file that we are concerned about, right? So malware has been executed on this particular machine. Now if we want to identify what the hell is going on, so as I told you, right, so we are going to hunt through memory, right? Now consider the scenario something like that. You have got an alert that this particular machine is trying to do some kind of outbound, right? And you have captured the memory, and now you are trying to identify what is exactly going on. So I have captured the same memory while before recording this particular video. I have ran this sample and I have collected the memory. Okay, so now let us go to the memory and let us open through the volatility and let us see what is exactly inside that. Okay, I have logged into my shift workstation now, and if I quickly want to show you about that particular file, so this is the memory .raw file that I have captured from the same machine. And now what is the first step, guys? So if you want to analyze any particular memory.raw sample or any volatile data, first thing you need to identify the profile here, guys, right? So for understanding what is the profile, you can easily run a KDBG scan, but for this particular tutorial I have already done that, and it's simple. Like you can simply run as image info and it will come into your front. But for my tutorial, I know this is an Windows 10 machine, and this is the particular profile that I need to parse through this file, right? So now what is my intention over here? Just I first want to show you the PS list over here, so that I want to show you what exactly the thing is going on this particular machine and this memory while we have captured the dump, and what are the process it was active at the time we have captured the dump. Okay, so it is populating now. It is a longer list. It will take some time for us. Now just by understanding and looking through the PS list data, it is difficult for us to identify what is going on over here. Now from the exit data, we have seen this particular process has exited from the memory user init process. Looks like it's a legitimate process. 569 is the parent process of it, and if we go to the top of it, so definitely we can identify what is 569 over here, right? So, and again this process has also exited. Firefox.exe exited, Firefox this also exited, Teams.exe also exited. Okay, 532 and all those stuffs have already exited from the memory, right? So now what is interesting stuff here, guys? So by seeing this, it is very difficult to identify if there is any process which is trying to hide itself, right? So we can simply run a psxview command, by which if there is any process which is trying to hide itself through the current ps list, it will try to populate us, and we will see that in a sec. So let me quickly run psxview command. Okay, so our psxview scan has finished. So now if we go to the data over here, so what is the interesting point here and what is the thing that we should look for? So if you see anything where ps list is false and anything apart from ps list is true, or like one or two of other things are true, only ps list is false, so that means that particular process is trying to hide itself, right? So now if you go back here, so most of the things are true, but only if you see this, there is an svc host process which is false in these two section, which is ps list, and I believe it will be ps scan obviously, and there are other process where you are seeing this is true, right? So if you see this one, right, thread proc, right, so there is a thread active, that means a thread active in svc host.exe, which is true, and these two things are also true, which is CSRSS and session key. Okay, so that means there is a process inside our memory which is a parent process of this particular svc host.exe, which has created a thread that is still live, and it is using the same offset which is for svc host.exe, right? So now we have identified something, right, svc host.exe, right, so which is a pid process. So another interesting thing is that if you run a quick ps3 command, you will see that what are the parent child relationship of all of those child process and parent process running inside our memory, right? So that is another thing, but what we want to do at this point of time, we want to run malfind. Okay, so malfind is another plugin on volatility which will give you a hint of all of these processes that we are seeing hiding itself inside the memory through the psxview, and it will give you all of the offset location of the memory and name of that particular process which is trying to hide itself inside the memory. Okay, so let the malfind process run and we'll come back when this execution is finished. Okay, malfind has finished its scan. Now let us go back to the top of it and let us see what is exactly thing is going on. Okay, so most of the cases you will see a single process name and different offset location where on particular those offset location where malfind thinks there could be a process injection. Okay, and if you see here, so the process name is msmpeng.exe, process id 2040, and the starting address space is this one. Okay, so here it is trying to see there could be a process injection, and as I have told many times in my previous videos, always try to look for some sandwich pattern. Okay, so sandwich pattern means if you have seen there is a push command, there is a next XOR command, and there is another push command. Okay, so similar thing is we are also trying to look for over here. So now you will see that there are push command over here. I don't see a XOR command, there is another push, there is the in command, and there is another push. So this is giving some kind of sandwich pattern, but we are more interested to look for any kind of XOR pattern, or where we have seen in this particular section there is any executable pattern or any shell code or anything similar, right? So I'll skip the msmpeng.exe at this point of time. So basically what should we do? We need to go for each and every address space of this particular identification and try to identify what is going on, right? So now if I scroll at the very bottom of it, so you will see that there is another process that is mentioned over here. Okay, so the process name is realnetwork.ex. okay, so it could be obviously the exe, which is parent ID, like process id is 3228, starting address space is this one. So I do not see executable getting pushed inside that. There could be something else also, but if I see over here, so definitely there could be something fishy going on, because if you see this particular, so this is a call stack, this is a push command, this is another call stack, okay, and this is a popa command, okay. So you will see that there are a lot of push going on after the call stack, okay. So that is also some point of suspicion for us, okay. And if you see, there are multiple call stack is going on inside this particular address space, okay. So it gives us some kind of motivation that, okay, maybe we should look for more inside this process, what this process is trying to do, okay. So let me grab this particular PID for a minute and let me go for run a PS list again and try to identify what is parent process, okay. So if I do a -p command and 3228 was the name process ID, so it will give me the process name which is present inside that, okay. So offset location I have identified, real network.exe, and parent process ID is 3400, okay. So now it is time to look for what is this parent process. Now if you see, this parent process is a legitimate one, there could be some suspicion, okay, this process is also a legitimate, so malfind is giving us some false positive, okay. So the same thing, we will go inside that and try to identify 3400, okay. Now let's see what is the parent process of it, okay. Now this is interesting, guys, right? So you see, there is no parent process. Volatility is not able to find any parent process which is a process ID of 3400, right? That is suspicious, right? So that means this particular process is in the memory, right? But it has a parent process which is not present in the memory. That means this particular process has tried to inject to a process which has left already the memory and that has already exited from the memory, okay. So now if I quickly run a ps3 command and just try to identify what is going on inside this process name, maybe, so that would give me some kind of hint that, okay, so which is the parent process, or even real network.exe is itself a parent process, right? So you see, there is no dot inside that, or nothing like dot something like that, right? So that means real network.exe is running as a parent process inside the memory, which has a name 3400 as a parent process of real network.exe, but which doesn't exist in the memory, right? So malfind has given us a very good example of something fishy is going on, right? So now what we can do, we can go back to our Windows machine and we can run the process hacker, okay. So I am already running the process hacker, and if I try to look for the particular process real network.exe, right? So I can open that particular process and I can see what is going on, right? So now if you see, this process inside our machine is already telling no existent process like 1852. It could be a different one depending on the time. As I told you, right, I have captured the memory image before. If I have captured this memory image, it would have definitely given me 1854, but 3400 was the time when I have captured the memory, okay. But anyway, so you got the idea, right? The parent process doesn't exist at all, right? So now if you go to the thread over here, so you will see that there are multiple threads going on, and if you see that these particular threads, there are some starting address, and so this is a null byte, by the way, right? So this process has a thread is open inside that, which is working as a null pointer. So that means this process is definitely suspicious and trying to do some anomaly inside our machine, right? So we have identified what the hell is going on inside our machine through memory forensics, through volatile data, and we have identified one process which is an injected process where parent process is missing, okay. So now let me do one thing. Let me fire up the PS list, the PowerShell script that is written by Jarrett, and let me show you how you can identify not from a single machine but through run the PowerShell command on a machine and you can identify the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to refer the Sans course that the podcast that he has done, and I'm going to refer that for this demonstration because that was a Windows 7 machine that he has shown, and it is very easy to show the demonstration on Windows 7 machine. Okay, but definitely trust me, if you have identified any similar malware or anything running, or there is a process injection, you will definitely identify through that process. Okay, so now if you see I am running the command, and again I want to show you. So the command name is get child item, and if you see, this was the location of my file. I have just grabbed it from this location. If I go to the property, this was the current working directory of it, right? So I have just given that location. Okay, and if I run that sucker over here, you will see that there are some names. There is one main.dll and one is network real network.exe. okay, so this is going on inside that, right? So if I want to see the get child item of my this this particular sucker over here, right? So I should get something interesting as well, right? So let me do that. Yes, so you see, so that means, so this particular process or whatever it may be, it has another DLL process which we are not seeing over here inside this particular location, right? So that means this process has spawned up another DLL, right, inside our memory. So the main process was real network.exe, which has 3 child process running, and it has another child DLL running. And now if we go back and if we try to see what the hell is going on inside this MPA, probably we can identify something more as well, right? So okay, so this is the same process, I believe. Yes, this is the same one, right? So now if I go back to my user and if I want to look for the Black Pearl one, now definitely I don't see this sucker over here in my child listing, right? So that means it is giving me another clear indication that this particular process is an injected one. It is not a legitimate one, guys. Okay, again I am telling you, I am referencing his Sans podcast, so this particular section is not made by me, but I'll try to show you in my own words. Okay, so this is the same machine. He is trying to identify the process name using his script, the get injected thread machine, and as you see, the process name is real network.exe, right? And all of the other process that is going on, and if you see the location, it was quite similar, the location that we have also identified inside our memory. Okay, and it is the same process that we are going through getting the child item, and the path is also same, guys, right? Okay, so now guys, it is the interesting thing, guys, how you can basically respond. Okay, so that means this time the real network.exe might not be a legitimate process, so you can, using your EDR solution or stuff like that, you can simply kill the whole tree, guys, right? But let's consider this thread was injected in a legitimate process, let's say LSAS or Windows init logon or similar stuff like that. So you cannot kill the whole process tree, right? So you will see a blue screen or even your system will crash, right, guys? So there is a step, and again I will reference the script that is created by Jared. So he has done a similar process where he have prepared another script where you can definitely just go and identify what is the name of the injected thread, and you can kill those things very efficiently. Okay, so let me take you to that particular console again, and if I just quickly want to show you, this is the process, guys. Okay, so again the same command, get injected thread, and this time we are piping it, simply select process name and thread ID, stuff like that. Okay, so now you will see that there are 4 things. Okay, the thread ID, so 920.1664.1644 and 3244, this 4 thread ID was present. And now if you look for the properties of process hacker, you will see the same process is getting loaded. Okay, so now this is another script, stop thread, and you just need to mention that particular thread name which is created. Okay, now if you see the red screen that just flashed, that means that particular thread got deleted. Okay, So now what is going on, so we can one by one we can kill all of the thread that this particular process has spawned within a memory. Okay, so I am again telling you, this could be very handy if you are hunting a large scale of hunting process and you have identified this particular thread is going on and you want to kill them one by one rather not killing the whole process tree. Okay, that might kill you the whole process that is going on inside that, right? So that is the interesting thing, guys. Using this particular script, you can not only hunt into your organization at scale, but you can even kill those threads which is basically a spawned up thread, something like a poison ivy or this Trojan example that we have worked on. It is tend to attach themselves within in a process which just had left the memory, and it has that stealthy feature so that any bypass mechanism or any defense mechanism will fall apart, right? So yes guys, that's pretty much it about today's episode. So I hope now you understand what is important and why it is important to hunt in the memory. You have identified two processes. One, when you have identified a particular machine, a single machine which is trying to do anomalous activity, how you can identify through memory forensics what is going on. And the second thing is that if you identified one single maybe SIM alert or something like that, how you can do hunting at scale using the PowerShell script created by Jared Atkinson, and you can identify what is going on, if there is any shell, if there is any process injection and stuff like that through the scale. Okay, through scale and through your organization using this PowerShell script on any kind of Windows machine, right? So it is pretty simple. You just load up your antivirus solution like EDR solution, and you can deploy a custom script using inside that using that agent, and it will be as simple as that, as a click button function. Okay, at the end the result will be delivered to you and it is nothing pain, right? So you will get to know that how many machines in your network is susceptible to the attack or even has been attacked already and there is process injection going on, guys, right? So I'll encourage you to go to these links, identify what is going on, download those scripts and try to identify if you can do the same exercise in your lab so that you can be ready if there is an actual incident and you are trying to prepare your hunt topology for your organization as well, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. And before even leaving, don't forget to subscribe Black Pearl channel. If you like the video, please click the like button and also click the bell icon so that once I upload a new video, you will get notification as soon as I upload a new one. Okay, so yeah, stay healthy and stay safe. I'll catch you guys next time with a power pack episode.